Good morning, students. In previous lecture, we have discussed the performance parameter, heat balance sheet, and the brake power measurement with the help of the rope brake dynamometer. In today's lecture, we are going to see the pony brake dynamometer. If you see, the pony brake dynamometer is simple in the construction and which is cheap and easy to construct. So it is used for the measurement of the brake power for low speed and low capacity engine. A pony brake dynamometer, it consists, you can see here, this is a frame structure. Two brake shoes we have applied over here, usually made up of the wood and which are clamped on the flywheel rim, as you can see in this figure. And the pressure on the brake shoes on the flywheel can be adjusted by spring-loaded nuts on the frame. So a load arm is extended on the top. You can observe over here, and the brake which carries the hook and over the hanger, and the weights are hang over it. So when the brake shoes are pressed on the rotating arm flywheel, so it opposes the engine torque and the power is dissipated in the overcoming frictional resisting. So since the power absorbed by the friction is converted into the heat, this dynamometer needs to be cooling over there. So that's why we are providing the cooling arrangement. So whenever we are going to calculate the pony brake dynamometer on the brake power, whenever we are going to calculate, we are taking W is equal to mg, that is mass of the, we are calling the mass over or on the load arm, and g is the acceleration due to gravity, and let L is the distance from the center of the brake drum to the hanger, and which is called as the load arm, that is the M we are substituting over here, M. So here torque is equal to W into L. So just keep in the mind, W is the weight on the hanger, that is N, and which can be calculated, that is the W, we can calculate the, we are going to calculate the torque over here, okay? And torque is equal to W into L, which is in Newton meter. So brake power is equal to the T into theta. This theta is the 2 pi n divided by 60. So overall formula for calculating the brake power is equal to 2 pi n. And here torque, we are going to substitute here W into L. Keep in the mind, our generalized formula for the brake power is 2 pi nt divided by 60,000. And this is the W into L into 2 pi nt divided by 60,000, and torque is equal to W into L. And this torque we are going to calculate as W into L. W is the weight on the hanger, and N is the W into L. L is the distance from the center of the flywheel to the distance of the center of the flywheel to the load arm. So in this way, we are calculating the brake power by using the pony brake dynamometer. Next, we are going to discuss the methods for calculating the friction power. So the difference between the indicated power and the brake power is called as the friction power, which include the pumping losses due to the induction of and the exhaust frictional losses in the bearing and other moving part, and air friction we can say of the flywheel, and power required to drive the auxiliaries such as the governor, lubricating pump, water circulating pump. So friction power is equal to the indicated power minus brake power. So what are the effects we can observe by this friction power? So frictional losses plays the important role while deciding the performance and designing the engine. So as is increases the friction losses, reduce the availability of the power output, increase the capacity of the cooling load, since the frictional power is converted into the heat, which is partly converted away by the cooling system and remainder in the exhaust gases, and increase the brake specific fuel consumption, that is BSFC, and decrease the mechanical efficiency. So these are the effect of the frictional power on the IC engine performance. So the we are saying that the we are measuring the where it is required to measure the friction power, and so that's why the different methods for the measurement of the friction power is required. First one is the by measurement of indicated power and the brake power. Second one is the Wilhelm's method. Third one is the Mohs test, and fourth one is the motoring test. So first we are going to discuss by measurement of the indicated power and the brake power. We know that indicated power developed by the engine and can be measured with the help of the an indicator, or and the brake power can be measured with the help of the dynamometer. As I explained, we have previously covered this point, and just simply we are going to take the difference between these two, and we are getting the friction power. So this is first method. Second one we are going to discuss, that is the Wilhelm's line method. So in this Wilhelm's line method, this method we can say also fuel rate extrapolation method also. Okay, this is the another name. Keep in the mind, Wilhelm's line method, we can also call it as the fuel rate extrapolation method. So in this method, a graph between the rate of fuel consumed, which we are taking in the kg per hour, we are taking on the y-axis, and brake power we are taking it on the x-axis. So as engine run at the constant speed, we are plotting the points on this graph, and the graph is extrapolation back to the zero fuel consumption, which cut at the negative x-axis, which we can see here at point A. And the negative extrapolation on the x-axis represent the frictional power of the at that speed of the engine. So when BP we are saying that the BP is the equal to the zero, so the fuel consumption at this point represent the fuel consumed to overcome the frictional power. So since the variation in the fuel consumption rate, the brake power is the linear, you can observe in this graph, and it implies that the extrapolation of the almost straight line part of the curves as the negative intercept on the x-axis from the at the zero, whenever we are saying that there is a zero fuel consumption, will represent the friction power. So in this graph, 0 to -4, so 4 kilowatt power is known as the friction power. And you can see the limitation of this method. This method is only applicable for the CI engine, means compression ignition engine. An engine must run at the constant speed throughout the test performance. Okay, so friction power varies with increase in the speed, so constant speed is required, and this method gives approximate friction power due to the errors involved in the extrapolation method. So we have discussed the Wilhelm's line method and its limitations. Next method we are going to discuss is the Mohs test. Mohs test, in the Mohs test, you can see the test can be either used by determining the indicated power or by the frictional power in case of the multi-cylinder engine, by cutting off the each cylinder in turns. Suppose in case of the petrol engine, or we are saying SI engine, each cylinder in turns is rendered by inoperative of the shorting the spark plug of the cylinder. And in case of the CI engine, we are cutting off the fuel supply. Keep in the mind, in SI engine, we are making inoperative spark plug, and in case of the CI engine, we are just cutting off the fuel supply to the engine. So in this engine, we are calculating the we are taking B as the brake power of the engine when all 4 cylinders are working, and B1 is the brake power of the engine when first cylinder is cut off. B2 is the brake power of the engine when second cylinder is cut off. B3 is the brake power of the engine when third cylinder is cut off, and B4 is the brake power of the engine cylinder when fourth cylinder is the cut off. And this I1, I2, I3, I4, this indicates the indicated power developed by the cylinder when the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So these 4 cylinder we are cut off respectively. So frictional power we are considering F1, F2, F3 and F4. So total brake power. So see, in this how we are going to calculate this total brake power is important. Total brake power is summation of the indicated power minus summation of the friction power. And in this method, the B1, we are calculating the B1. How we are going to calculate this B1? B1 when first engine cylinder is cut off, at that time remaining cylinders are running. So we are taking I2 plus I3 plus I4. So this is the indicated power of second cylinder, third cylinder and fourth cylinder, and we are adding those, and just we are subtracting the frictional power, because frictional power is the same. So F1, F2, F3, F4. So we are adding this frictional power and we are taking the difference between these two and we are getting the B1. Okay, so we have calculated the total brake power, we have calculated the brake power when first cylinder is cut off, and on subtracting total brake power minus when first cylinder is cut off brake power, this gives you the indicated power of the first cylinder. So in this way, we can calculate I2, that is B minus B2 when second cylinder is cut off. Same way we can calculate I3 when third cylinder is cut off, B minus B3. Same way we can calculate I4 when fourth cylinder is cut off, B minus B4. And by adding all these I1, I2, I3, I4 indicated power of first cylinder, second cylinder and fourth cylinder, we are getting the total indicated power, or in short we can say fourth of B minus summation of the B1 plus B2 plus B3 plus B4. This gives you the indicated power. And once you calculated the indicated power, previously we have calculated the brake power, and by taking the difference between these cylinders, by taking the difference between these powers, brake power and the indicated power, that is the indicated power minus brake power, this gives you the friction power. And this brake power we measured with the help of the dynamometer, which we have discussed previously. So in this way, we can calculate the friction power by using the Mohs test. So the errors involves, some errors are involved while calculating the friction power by using the Mohs test. So we know that the measurement of the friction power is fairly accurate. However, the errors involved in the measurement of the friction power, and these methods are, in case of the petrol engine, using the common intake manifold may affect the distribution of the mixture and the volumetric efficiency of the engine cylinder also. And the second one, the use of the common exhaust manifold, the cutting of the cylinder may cause the pulsation in the exhaust system, which in turns affect the performance of the engine. So in this way, we have discussed the Mohs test. So this is all about the today's lecture. In today's lecture, we have discuss the different methods to calculate the brake power, such as the Pony brake dynamometer. In Pony brake dynamometer, we have calculated the brake power is equal to W into L into 2 pi NT divided by 60,000. And next we have discussed the methods to calculate the friction power method. So in that friction power method, we have discussed the measurement by integrated power, brake power, Whelan's line method, Mohs test, and the motoring test. So related with the motoring test, just we are discussing that in the motoring test, these are determined by frictional power. The engine runs up to the its rated power, and till the steady state conditions are the reached, and the power developed in the we are saying that the power developed by the engine is absorbed by the swinging field dynamometer connected to the engine shaft, either the ignition of the petrol engine or the fuel supply of the diesel engine. So in both cases, cutoff we are considering, and by suitable changes in the electric switching devices, the dynamometer runs the motor at the same speed at which engine was run, and the output of the motor is measured by representing the frictional power. So in order to maintain the operating temperature and the cooling water cutoff, we are taking the test. So this is all about the today's lecture. Thank you very much.